Real quick, I want to mention this, that in the light body activation phase, from what I hear, one of the things that the practitioners are able to do, and this is a more advanced level, is they have hospitals, and one that I've heard about is one in China. And one of the things that they do is they have doctors who practice being able to activate their light body and to be able to heal their patients without any type of medicine. And the story that I heard was there was a lady who had cancer, and I think it was like she had a tumorous cancer, or a cancerous tumor somewhere, and I don't remember where. But what I do know is in I guess like in the session, in order to be able to heal her and to cure her of her cancer, they had 3 doctors that came in. These are like spiritual healers, and they came in, and the first thing was they had to prepare the lady for her healing. She had to be put in the right state of mind to be able to be healed, because what they did was they didn't just heal her, or they healed her, but what they did was, the concept was that they shifted her reality to a point to where the disease did not exist. And I guess I could talk a little bit more about that in another video, as far as like dimensional realities and interdimensional beings. But right now, just to talk a little bit about, the story of healing, how this lady got healed. They brought in 3 doctors, and they stood around her, and basically what they said was that they created a chant, and the chant, what they were saying was, it didn't really matter whatever it was they said. The goal was to be able to activate the light body within that lady. And that's the thing about spiritual healing, is it's your responsibility to heal yourself. The people, the doctors and things, when they come around, they're there to help provide support for you to be able to heal yourself. But it's on you, on your own internal being. You have to count on your own God within to be able to heal you. So basically they prepared the lady, they let her know what it was that they were going to be chanting, and then it was probably some more that went along with it, like probably some hypnosis or some type of mental therapy before they actually went into it. Because from what I hear is that some people, no matter how much you want them to heal, there's a part of them that doesn't want them to heal. And that's where you start to get into the duality of things, and how you have to recognize how everyone has their light and their dark, and understanding the light and dark sides of people. That's where you start to get into you start to understand the moon, because everyone has a connection to the moon, and you want to be able to pass that duality. And that's key. Like, you hear about Future in one of his songs, he say, like, when I find her, tell her I passed the moon. And that's basically saying that you've learned how to balance the duality, the polarities within. Because it's almost a battle that we all have that's happening within. And I don't want to get too deep into it, because I just wanted to review some of the things that I talked about in my previous videos. But we all have an internal battle, and what they did was they had to prepare that lady so that her consciousness wouldn't block her from being healed. And that's one of the keys, because you notice how some people, they may kind of doubt themselves and in their abilities or whatever it is it may do. And what you have to be able to do is you have to be able to extinguish, or you have to be able to get that voice that blocks you from whatever it is you're trying to do. You have to be able to vanquish that, and in order to be able to make that breakthrough. So, they did some mental training with her, and during the session, what they did was they surrounded her and made sure that she was comfortable, and they started to chant. And basically in the chant, the goal was to be able to create the light body activation within her. And what they were actually saying was, they were saying, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up. And then they got to a certain point where they were just like, mate, 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 mate. And whatever it was that meant to that lady, it started to heal her. And the exciting part is that they had a sonogram, and where they was actually able to show the cancerous tumor start to dissipate. And that's the really exciting part, is where we have these ancient spiritual practices, but we have modern technology to be able to prove and verify that this stuff actually works. That whatever it is that, you know, the spiritual doctors or the spiritual practices that you're going through, it's actually working. That's the amazing part about it. So she ended up getting healed, and I think she's been cured ever since. The cancer hasn't come back. So that's the fascinating part, you know, to be able to heal. And basically, I watched another interview with one of the doctors, and basically what they were saying was that it's two parts to it, the healing. And the first part is the doctors themselves have been trained in mastery of that light body activation, which is like an electrical type feeling. That's one part of it. The other part is the environment from all of the doctors, because this stuff has been practiced for thousands of years. So in that place, all of the doctors that have been there that have already passed away, the ones that are still living, they call on their own energy, and they also summon the energy of those doctors that have, like, I guess, like a spiritual residence, or almost like a spiritual residue that's there, in order to help call on that energy as well, in order to go into channeling into that healing. So that kind of makes me think about environments in general, where you may have successful communities where, you know, the people have a long history, a rich history of being successful and raising successful people. And then you have unsuccessful communities where the community may not even have a history. You know, it may just be a place where the government built a housing project, you know, and for whatever reason, like anybody is just able to move in with no culture. So, you know, successful communities have successful practices and successful cultures. And that's one thing that I think, you know, getting into, I don't know if I even want to get too much into that right now. But I think you start to get into residual spirits that kind of linger around, whether they're, you know, good spirits or bad spirits. They kind of linger around and influence people to do good or bad. And that's, you know, getting into the battle of the dualities that we all have to face. And I may talk about that another time, because I didn't really plan on talking about that. So basically, just recapping on the information that we've already went over. You know, the introduction, the ascension, and you know, just practicing presenting the information, and then also practicing the energy work on the level that I'm on now. And one of my goals is to be able to branch out and network, you know, build a bigger network of individuals who practice the same or who have the same practices. And I think that way, if we combine our forces, I think that we'll be able to make an awesome contribution to society, to the world that we live in. So that's just a little bit that I wanted to go over, is just to review some of the things Hopefully I didn't make this video too long. And just practice presenting information, talking about these type of things. And in my next video, in the next couple of videos, I want to get a little bit more into the scientific part of the energy work, the spiritual sciences that go along with it, because it's some very interesting stuff. And I want to make sure that I know how to present it, and then I also share it, because this stuff is very, very fascinating. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. See, I went over that. Yeah, that's about it, really. Hopefully, you guys, stay on the spiritual journey. Hopefully, you guys stay on the spiritual journey and continue developing. I love hearing stories about people who have their own miracles and their own testimonies. So that's something that I love to hear as far as like networking, and just stay on the spiritual journey and continue developing, because it's very fascinating. All of this stuff really is. So with that being said, let me go ahead and wrap this up. Hopefully you guys have a good one. Until next time, peace and be blessed.